What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So I'll be honest with you guys, I had no idea how legit the Resonator deck was until a few weeks ago when we got a new card announced in Premium Pack 24. By the way, that set, we have no idea when it will be a thing in the TCG, so stop asking. But yeah, basically that card will glue everything together, so it's going to be a much better deck overall that you can play with one card very consistently. Or with two cards, pretty much any combination of cards work really well. So usually you're never going to have to worry about bricking. You have so many one-card starters that you've got like a 90+% probability of comboing off with like one card. It's actually ridiculous, and also that doesn't account every two-card combo. So yeah, you're basically never doing nothing in this deck. And your end boards are also extremely good, and if you know what you're doing, you can also somewhat navigate around Nibiru by baiting your opponent very well and by doing the correct sequencing. But it's very difficult because this deck is quite challenging, not only to deck build, but also to play. So it's very good in the right hands. And that's the reason why I really wanted to touch on this deck, because I do genuinely believe in its potential. And there might be a world in which it might be the next tier 1. It also depends on how much love it gets in the future. Yeah, it can easily win in time because you've got so many burn cards. It's annoying, but it is what it is. Yeah, like I said, very consistent, very powerful, very resilient. For the most part, you do lose to Drool every now and then because you do Surge, but there are still ways of navigating your way around them, because you can Foolish cards and then recycle them back to your hand. And you can also just special summon a lot from the deck, so sometimes it's really not that good. But yeah, anyways, before we go any further, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. It really motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. I'm showing you guys like 5 combos in this video, as well as the deck profile, so you already know it's stacked with content. And if this video can get to 1,000 likes, which I know we can, I will be down to make a live stream on it, so make sure you smash the like button. And also, I wanted to give a quick little shout out to my boy Dalton for reminding me of the existence of a few cards. So yeah, if you're watching this, my man, thank you so much for everything. But yeah, let's get right into combo number 1 now. Alright, so Crimson Gaia is a one-card combo, very simple. It can search any card that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. That includes the spell and shops as well. It also has a very neat effect that allows you to revive back a Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard whenever any monster on any field is destroyed by battle or by card effect, which I actually think is really good because it is one of the ways that you can play through the Nibiru, because now that your opponent summons a monster, you can destroy it and then revive back a... Yeah, I'll show you guys this later on. Anyways, Crimson Gaia is one of the so many one-card starters. So yeah, anything that can access Soul Resonator, which again, every path leads to Rome, is going to be a ticket to your big board. But yeah, you're going to be getting the Soul Resonator, which on summon, you can search your deck for a level 4 or lower Fiend monster, and then you're locked under Dark Synchro for the rest of the turn. And then you're going to be searching the Bone Archfiend, which is a crack card. In your hand or grave, you can special summon it, and then you have to pitch any card from your hand or field to the grave. And you can also Foolish a Fiend Tuner in order to gain or lose a level of a monster on your field by 1. So you're going to be decreasing the level of Bone Archfiend by 1 in order to dump the Crimson Resonator. And then you've got 2 level 3 monsters, so you Synchro into Red Rising Dragon. This one, on summon, you get to revive back any Resonator from the grave. And the turn you summon, use this effect, you're locked under Dark Dragon Synchro. So this deck does lose to D-Bearer because Synchro Summoning is the only thing it can really do. All your cards lock you under that, so it's not like you can easily Link Summon or Xyz Summon or anything. But yeah, you're going to be reviving back the Crimson Resonator. And that's one of the MVPs of this deck, I want to say, because if you control only one Dragon Synchro outside of it, you can special summon 2 Resonator monsters from your hand or deck, and the effects are not negated, which is actually kind of unfair when you think about it. So you're going to be summoning the Vision Resonator as well as the Synchron Resonator. This one is very popular because people are playing it even outside of Resonator. Whenever it is sent to the graveyard from anywhere, you can search a spell or trap card that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. And if there is a level 5 or higher dark monster on the field, you can summon it from the hand as an inherent summon once per turn. And then the Synchron Resonator, when it is used as a synchro material, you can recycle back a Resonator monster from your graveyard to the hand, and it is not once per turn. And it's a level 1 tuner, which does matter because the majority of your monsters, they have even number levels, which sometimes can be a little awkward if you want to summon something like a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss because it is level 9. But this guy is your friend to help you out in here. Anyways, you're going to be Synchro Summoning into Scar Red Dragon Archfiend using the Vision and the Red Rising. And the Vision is going to trigger in order to search for the Red Zone. If you didn't have Crimson Gaia because you hard opened the Soul Resonator, then you can search the Crimson Gaia and then search the Red Zone. And this card has 2 really good effects. But anyways, now you can Synchro Summon into the Hot Red by doing what I told you. So use the Scarred Red as well as the Synchron Resonator. And then you can go Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, so recycle back the Vision Resonator from the graveyard to the hand. And then trigger the Scarred Red in order to summon the Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck. and it is treated as a synchro summon, so it is deemed as a proper summon so that you can revive it back with the Crimson Gaia. And then you synchro summon it into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane, which has a Monster Reborn by effect by tributing a monster. And then, like I said, you summon the Vision Resonator and then tribute it to revive back the Scarred Red. And then you set the Red Zone and call it a turn, so 1 card combo gets you to 2 interruptions. So an Omni Negate in the form of Hot Red, and then the Red Zone allows you to destroy any card on the field whenever your opponent activates a card or effect and you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a synchro monster that mentions it. Now, you do have Red Dragon Archfiend in the form of Scarred Red, which is exactly what you asked for. And if one of your monster happens to get banished, you can revive back from the banished for free with the Red Zone, which is also very neat. So yeah, if your opponent goes like, I don't know, something that banishes the Hot Red, you don't even have to negate it. You can let it go through and then revive back, and then you can use the negate on something else. So this is a 1 card combo, and it still ends on triple synchro, a trap card, and a follow-up because you have Bone Archfiend in the graveyard. Not too bad, not too bad. Let's get into combo number 2 now. Alright, so this time we have Crimson Resonator as well as Wandering King Wildwind, which could be pretty much just any other level 4 Fiend monster non-tuner. So special summon Crimson Resonator since you control no monsters, and then special summon the King Wildwind since you control a Fiend tuner with 1500 or less attack. And then synchro summon into Red Rising, revive back the Crimson Resonator, and then do the same thing, so summon 2 Resonators from deck. This time it's going to be the Soul Resonator as well as Vision Resonator, and then trigger the Soul in order to search for the Red Lotus, which is the new card in Premium Pack 24. Again, we have no idea when we'll get it. But yeah, this card is really cool because you can summon it during either player's main phase, if either you control a Fiend tuner or your opponent controls a special summon monster, and then on summon it burns your opponent for 400 for each fire monster you control with different names. So in other words, you can actually burn in time on turn 0 with this card, and you can also send a normal trap card from your deck to the graveyard whenever it is sent as a synchro material to the graveyard. So this is one of the few ways you can kind of play through Droll in case you your first search is the Red Lotus off of the Soul Resonator. You can still kind of do something. So like I said, Droll is not really the end of the world for this deck. But yeah, special summon the Red Lotus and then use the effect, so burn your opponent for 800. Time has been called, what a coincidence. And then go for the Red Rising, revive back the Red Resonator, Soul, and then trigger the Red Lotus to summon the Red Rain. So that has a graveyard effect, which allows you to recycle it back to the hand whenever you synchro summon a, I think, Dark Dragon synchro monster. And you're going to be reviving back the Soul Resonator with the Red Rising. And then synchro summon into the Scarred Red using the Vision as well as the Red Rising. And then trigger the Vision Resonator as well as the Red Rain, so recycle back the Red Rain. And search your deck for Crimson Gaia, and the Crimson Gaia will be searching you for the Red Zone, which is the trap card that we searched on combo number 1. And then use the, the Crimson Resonator as well as the Scarred Red for the Bestial Dispatter. And the Scarred Red will trigger to summon the Red Dragon Archfiend. And then you synchro using the Soul Resonator and the Red Rising for the Hot Red. And then that will leave you with a live Red Zone because you do control Red Dragon Archfiend. And you do have Red Rain so that you can banish every monster on the field except the monsters with the highest level. So Bestial Dispatter will be the only survivor. And then every survivor becomes unaffected by card effects for the rest of the turn, except their own card effects. And if like I said, the other effect is the recurring effect. So now you've got 4 interruptions, if I recall correctly, because on the end phase, the Bestial Dispatter will be live, since the Red Dragon Archfiend has a mandatory effect to destroy every monster that didn't attack. So you can protect all of them thanks to Soul Resonator. And now you've got a card in the banish, so Bestial Dispatter can destroy an opponent's monster when he tries to activate its effect. The Hot Red can negate anything. The Red Rain can banish every monster on the field, and then the Red Zone can revive back a banished synchro monster, as well as destroy 1 card. So yeah, 1 interruption, 2 interruptions, 3 interruptions, and 4 interruptions, with a very good follow-up, and you can keep searching with a Crimson Gaia over and over. It's just a 2-card combo, very, very simple. But it's also the follow-up that I actually think is completely ridiculous, because you can easily end on a bunch of synchro monsters next turn. So now I'm going to show the interruptions in action. So we can destroy a card with the Red Zone, like I said, whenever our opponent uses a card effect. And then the Crimson Gaia can trigger to revive back a Red Dragon Archfiend from the grave. The Bestial Dispatter can destroy something. And then the Red Rain can banish everything and also revive back a monster from the banished. And then if our opponent passes turn, whatever, it's guaranteed that we have game. The Wandering King Wildwind can search a Fiend tuner, except during the turn it was sent to the grave. I don't even know if it's necessarily a Fiend tuner. It might be just any Fiend. No, a Fiend tuner with 1500 or less attack. The same kind of monster that allows it to be summoned. And yeah, you can just keep recurring back advantage over and over. Trigger the Scarred Red to summon even more Red Dragon Archfiends. The effect doesn't even matter. You just have like a free Blue Eyes on the board. You can keep searching with the Soul Resonator and then keep burning your opponent with the Red Lotus and then Red Rising number 3. Revive back and trigger the Red Lotus to send any trap, but at this point it's not even like we're gonna have anything. Bestial Dispatter, revive back a Synchro, and just like that, we've got 6 beautiful Synchro monsters on the board. One of the most beautiful boards you will ever see, and it's a total joke to put up. So yeah, a single 2-card combo can put up 4 interruptions as well as a lethal follow-up, literally regardless of what your opponent does. Alrighty, so now combo number 3 is going to be the exact same opening hand, but it's going to be a different route. So instead of going for the Dispatter with a hot red, I'm going to show something a little different. So yeah, still Red Rising into Crimson Resonator. This time it's not any different. And we're still summoning the exact same monsters, still searching. Well, actually, this time instead of searching the Red Lotus, we're searching the Bone Archfiend, and we're going to be normal summoning it since we never used our normal summon, and then use its effect to increase the level of Red Rising by 1. And then use the Bone Archfiend as well as the Vision Resonator for the Red Rising. And then Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. So we're going to be getting the, the Synchron Resonator from the graveyard that we dumped with the Bone Archfiend. And we're going to be searching the Crimson Gaia with the Vision Resonator. And then Synchro using the level 1 Synchron Resonator and the level 7 Red Rising because we increased the level by 1 using the Bone Archfiend for the Scarred Red. And then we can recycle back the Vision Resonator. And then trigger the Graveyard effect of Bone Archfiend to send the Scarred Red and revive it back. And that will trigger to summon the Red Dragon Archfiend from the extra deck. And then special summon the Vision Resonator for another Red Rising. And then we can revive back the Synchron Resonator. And we've got 3 tuners on our field. So 1, 2, and 3. So that is going to be 6 levels worth of tuner materials. And with the Red Rising, we can go into a Red Supernova and trigger the Red Resonator, the Synchron to recruit back the Vision Resonator, and then we can search for the Red Zone. And the Red Supernova Dragon here is actually really nasty because whenever your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish the Red Supernova and then banish every card your opponent controls, and then you get it back on your next end phase. So it's actually a massive interruption, really annoying to get rid of, and you still have the Red Zone to be able to destroy anything, and also revive back a banished Dark Synchro. So in other words, you guessed it, after using the effect of Red Nova once, you can actually use it again because once you're banishing it, you can revive it back from the banished and then trigger its effect because it is not once per turn whatsoever. That is kind of correct. And again, on the end phase, the Red Dragon Archfiend has to destroy all our monsters, but it doesn't matter because the Soul Resonator can protect everything. So yeah, again, another one of those instances where you just do so much because you banish everything your opponent controls and then get back the Red Supernova. Our opponent wants to use a monster effect, no problem, banish again every single card your opponent controls and then destroy something with the Red Zone if we have to, which I actually think is completely correct. Like, you have so many interruptions, you don't even know what to do with them. It's really just correct. And also so much recursion. Again, you keep reviving back your monsters on your turn, on your opponent's turn, and you keep searching, and you can actually play with the same cards. So yeah, Wild Wind, search again, Crimson Gaia, search, like I have 4 cards in my hand, and I started with 2. Bestial Dispatter can also revive back the Red Supernova in case I don't want to wait, or I can do it with the Red Zone, and this can revive back the Wandering King Wild Wind, so I have like an infinite grind game, and I can attack with like all my monsters for game, while still having like a full hand. It's beautiful to look at. Alright, so this combo, I have Bone Archfiend and any discard, it doesn't matter what it is. So Bone Archfiend can summon itself by pitching whatever card you have, and then you decrease its level by sending the Vision Resonator, and that searches your Crimson Gaia, and that's going to be getting you the Soul Resonator, and then you normal summon it because that was your special summon, get the Synchron Resonator, and then Red Rising, revive back the Vision Resonator, go into the Scarred Red, and then sync into the Hot Red, and then trigger Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, so Synchron, revive back the Vision, and then Scarred Red, summon the Red Dragon Archfiend, and the Bestial Dispatter will be summoned off of level 8 plus 2, so you've got like 1 interruption, and then if your opponent banishes a card, then the Dispatter becomes live. So it's not that great, but it's what you can do when you're like completely screwed. So even like your extenders can still be like semi-starters in a way. This is the absolute worst case scenario. But yeah, now let's get into the combos that can actually somewhat play through Nibiru. Alrighty, so this time my hand has Crimson Resonator with Wandering King Wild Wind and Soul Resonator. It's really important when you have these kind of hands to not use your normal summon early because you want to hold it for your Soul Resonator, and you want to always start with a Crimson Resonator because you can only use its effect to summon 2 Resonators if the only other monster you control is exactly 1 Dark Dragon Synchro. So if you get Nibiru, you're going to have a Nibiru token, and that's going to clog you completely. And that is not what we want to do. So yeah, summon both monsters and then go for the Red Rising and then revive back and then summon 2 monsters from the deck. Everything is kind of ridiculous from here. And then go into the Scarred Red, Vision Resonator, get the Crimson Gaia. I think at this point you're kind of used to everything. Trigger a bunch of effects, recycle back the Vision, summon the Red Dragon Archfiend, summon Bestial Dispatter, get your Red Zone with the Crimson Gaia. And then at this point you would set it and proceed to end phase. If your opponent has Nibiru, he has to nib because he doesn't know what else you can do. But you can definitely still do a lot because you didn't use your normal summon. So this is where it becomes absolutely juicy. Normal summon the Soul Resonator, and then search your deck for the Red Lotus. And then special summon, since you control a Fiend Tuner, burn your opponent for 800, and then go for the Red Rising, revive back the Synchron Resonator, and dump the Red Rain. And then you can special summon the Vision Resonator. And this is the super spicy play. So you are going for a level 7 Synchro using the Synchron and the Red Rising. And you're going to be destroying the Nibiru with the effect of Kui Belt, and also recur back a Resonator monster with the Synchron Resonator. It doesn't matter too much because we already used all our extenders. And the Red Rain is going to be recurring itself back to the hand because we summoned the Dark Dragon Synchro. And because of the fact that a monster was destroyed by Battle by card effect, the Crimson Gaia revives back the Scarred Red, which does matter because now we can go for a Bane and tribute the Nibiru token to revive back the Hard Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and then we set the Red Rain. And just like that, we've got like a really big board through the Nibiru. It really just didn't change anything whatsoever. So yeah, we've got an Omni Negate, we've got a Banish everything, literally, except for the Bane. And then we can revive back a banished Synchro monster with the Red Zone. And if a monster dies, you can revive back the Scarred Red, and then you can trigger the Red Zone to destroy another card. So this is at minimum 2 to 3 interruptions through the Nibiru using 3 cards. Not too bad because there's so many substitutes for these kinds of combos. Literally, like, everything can lead to what I'm showing you guys. You don't necessarily have to physically hard draw the cards that I'm showing because there's just so many searchers. But anyways, let's get into the deck profile now. Alrighty, so for the deck list, I am playing a lot of 1-card starters, as you can clearly tell. I'm playing 3 Soul Resonator with 3 Resonator Call. And this card is really simple. You add 1 Resonator monster from your deck to your hand, not once per turn, no drawback whatsoever. That's the only card text that it has. And then Crimson Gaia, you can search any card that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck or graveyard to the hand, which is also very nice. And then it has another effect that I don't even think matters too much, but then the other effect, like I said, to revive back a Red Dragon Archfiend is definitely very relevant. And the other starter is Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper. So this card actually has 2 effects, and the first one is an inherent summon that might come up every now and then. If there is a card on the field zone, you can summon it from the hand for free, which does matter if you're going second against a deck that already has field spells. And the other one, you can discard it and then search your deck for a level 3 or lower Fiend Tuner from your deck to your hand, which also matters because your best cards are Fiend Tuners, your Soul Resonator, your Crimson Resonator, and even your Vision Resonator and Synchron Resonator. So this card can search you a 1-card starter, a potential extender, anything, you name it. And then the Bone Archfiend is also a semi-1-card starter. As I've showcased, it's still like a Hard Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss and a Bestial Dispatter. Still 12 true 1-card starters, and then Bone Archfiend, 3-pot Prosperity. 18 ways of getting your stuff going just with 1 card. Potentially, Pot of Prosperity has such a high likelihood of getting to a starter that it basically ends up being the same. In case you're wondering what do you banish with Prosperity, it's very simple. The Typhon, the Samsara, the 3rd Red Rising, and then the 2nd Red Dragon Archfiend, the 2nd Scarred Red, and the Scarlight. You don't really need these cards in order to combo, but the other cards, you kind of need them. Anyways, 3 Red Lotus. This is the card that you're usually searching with the Soul Resonator or the Bone Archfiend, but I actually think you can live with only 2 Red Lotus, to be honest. Then 2 Crimson Resonator. It only really works when you've got the level 4 extender, so if you don't have like the Wandering King Wild Wind or Bone Archfiend, it doesn't do too much. There might be a world in which this card could work only as a one-of because you can revive back with a Red Rising anyways, so I don't even think it's that necessary to play as a 2-of, but I don't know, I'm really open to options. Wandering King Wild Wind only combos with Crimson Resonator. The other, I mean, it can technically combo with Vision Resonator, but like not in a very good way, so I'm not a big fan. But yeah, this is like the really good 2-card combo, but at least I got like, I guess, Prosperity to dig into it in a way, but Do keep in mind that you can search Wandering King Wild Wind with Soul Resonator, but usually you're going to be searching Bone Archfiend because Bone Archfiend combos better with Soul Resonator, whereas this, again, only really combos with Crimson Resonator. And then Vision Resonator is not a true starter whatsoever, and it's not the best extender, but it is a good card to summon off of the Crimson. And Synchron Resonator is the same. You're not really trying to draw this card more often than not, but it's still a necessity to have in your deck. And then the 2 trap cards, so Red Rain, very good recursion from the graveyard, and Red Zone. You can't really recur it back from the graveyard to the hand, but I mean you can actually with Crimson Gaia, but you still want to surge this card from the deck to the hand, whereas Red Rain, you want to dump it with the Red Lotus, so that's the reason why this card is so good. So you can actually surge the 2 traps in your combo, as I've again showcased. So yeah, these are a must. And you can also play Fiendish Golem, but I'm gonna go in the details a little later on. And then 3 Forbidden Droplet, 3 Ash, and 3 Imperm as my utility cards, or rather my board breaking cards or board preventing cards. I want to say they're just like the best that you can play here. But you can also play Cross Out with Droll and Nibiru in order to not lose to these cards. It really is up to you. And then Call by the Grave, I guess it's a one-off, but we might as well play it. And Foolish Burial, you might be able to live without this card, honestly, because this deck is already relatively consistent. But Foolish, I guess, is a starter that somewhat plays around Droll, because if you're Foolishing Bone Archfiend, at least you don't have to rely on drawing the cards, so that's the nice thing about Foolish. So yeah, 40 card deck list, don't try to go above it, and don't try to make this deck any more complicated than it has to be, honestly. This deck is supposed to be simple, at least when you're looking at it that way, and then when you're playing it, it's gonna be a different story. For the extra deck, I am playing Red Supernova Dragon. This card's pretty cracked, obviously. You can use its effect twice, which is completely filthy, because when you resolve it once, usually you just win the game. If you can hold it and use it at the right timing, that is. And then Bestial Dispatter, of course, really insane card. Hard Red Dragon Archfiend Bane, this is only really good in this deck. In other decks, Hard Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss is always better. But either way, like, remember, by the way, that these cards actually do have an effect when they inflict battle damage. This revives back a tuner from the grave, and then this summons 2 tuners, one from the deck and then one from the grave. So do keep that in mind. They're not just negates or extenders. And then Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This is also treated as Red Dragon Archfiend in the field and in the graveyard, which is actually cool. So once you summon it once, you can revive back over and over and over. So again, better in this deck than it is in any other deck. And then Scarred Red with the Red Dragon Archfiend obviously makes sense. I've showcased a bunch of combos where these cards really came up. Kui Belt, usually a good board breaker. You get to destroy any card on the field when it's synchro summoned, so why not? Also has another relatively cute effect when it's destroyed. Prevent a monster from attacking until the end of your opponent's turn. So if your opponent goes to like access code to clear a board and then destroys this, like you can prevent the access code from attacking, which is not that relevant, but I guess it could come up, especially if your opponent doesn't read cards. Which again, against Resonators, you can definitely, you can capitalize off of that. And then 3 Red Rising, this is the ultimate starter, so obviously we're trying to play as many copies as possible. Samsara, which is the only level 5 synchro monster that I'm trying to play, because sometimes you have weird levels, like you've got, I don't know, like a level 2 tuner like Crimson Resonator or Vision and Red Lotus, and you've got like another tuner, but like the only way to climb would be to go into like a lower level synchro first and then into higher, and this is just like a stepping stone, really. It's not really a card that you're trying to end on. And finally Typhon, which is the only exception to the rule, the only non-synchro, because the card is just good like that. And then to give you guys a bunch of ideas, you could actually mix this deck with Bestials, might work, but they're not really good starters, or they don't really get your stuff going. You can only really use them as extenders, and after going into Crimson Resonator, because you can only, again, use this effect if the only other monster is what Dark Dragon Synchro. So if you summon a Bestial very early on, it's gonna clog up and prevent your Crimson Resonator from doing anything. But yeah, it's a cute little engine, could work. The Horse engine would not really make too much sense because it does conflict very hard with like pretty much everything, actually. So I'm not a big fan. Fiendish Golem is another very good target, like I said, because it does mention Red Dragon Archfiend in its card text, so it's searchable by pretty much everything. Rumpeltufel is a very good card that you can dump with Red Lotus in order to have an interruption, so that even if you get Nibiru'd, at least you can rely on its grave effect to at least make you survive. And then Fenrir is a cool card that you can play in this deck, gets you a discard so that you can pitch it with the Bone Archfiend. And also, actually, no, that doesn't matter, but yeah, it's just a good card overall. Triple Tactic Talents, if you want to. And then this card right here is also very interesting, Obsessive Uvua Loop. You can play it as a one-of in the main deck if you want to, but it's just more of a win more because it's not a true extender. You can only use it while you already have synchro monsters in rotation. So if you can't get your stuff going, this card does not allow you to keep pushing, and that's what I don't really like. It's more of like a win more, unfortunately. But it does work very, very well in tandem with Bestial Dispatter because it makes you banish cards from the grave, and then you can revive them back with Bestial Dispatter. So it kind of gives you a double extender in a way, and I do like that. So that's cool. And then Nibiru, Droll, and Cross Out, a third Crimson Resonator, and if you want to play more copies of Wandering King Wildwind, you are welcome to do so. And King Calamity if you want to. But this deck actually summons Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity like naturally in engine, going second. It's not like Centurion where you can actually make it on your opponent's turn. So I guess that's the bummer. But yeah, that's it for this combo video and deck profile, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about Resonator / Red Dragon Archfiend in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.